My name is Judy Shannon. I am delighted to have you join us today as we explore the features of volley.org and how you can best take advantage of those for your organization. We're going to start actually at the very beginning. When a volunteer comes to volley.org, we have a chance to engage people just where they are. Volunteer Now has been engaging volunteers for the past 45 years, and we're so pleased to be able to offer volley.org as a volunteer matching site for volunteers as well as for all of our nonprofits. Volley.org was launched 3 years ago, and we built it based around the needs of our nonprofit organizations. We were fortunate to have a philanthropist who supported our vision and helped to underwrite the expenses of developing this site. And thus far, it has far exceeded all of our expectations in its usefulness, its ease of use, and its effectiveness in finding the right matches for our nonprofit organizations. You will notice when you're on Volley that the first thing a volunteer is asked is, what are you passionate about? It's right in this area here. What's important about that is we know if volunteers care about your cause, care about your mission, they are more likely to be your most loyal volunteers, those that are going to show up, those that are going to repeat on a regular basis. So we want to reach people where their passion is and put that to work for your organizations. There are additional options here. The heart is about passion. The clock is about what dates you are available to volunteer so that volunteers can pick those dates that are most available for them and find opportunities that are a good match. We also have a map point here so that individuals can look for opportunities that are within 10, 20, or 30 miles of where they live or their work or their church. And we have a wrench here, and the wrench is for skill set. What skill set do they want to use when they volunteer, and how can they utilize that to serve our community? You'll also notice, if you just go into opportunities, that we currently have over 760 opportunities available in our area. That's a lot for people to sort through. So we have broken those opportunities down into various cause areas, and the causes reflect a national taxonomy of issues. We used GuideStar and other resources to identify what those categories should be so that we can make them the most meaningful and useful for you and our volunteers. And within each category, you can see, for example, in food and hunger, there are 37 current volunteer opportunities, and we've got a wide array of categories and subcategories. Within any particular category, let's look at behavioral and mental health with 34 volunteer opportunities active. If we go in here, you can see that we have provided a brief description of what this cause is, what it means, and we've also provided some bullet points with the impact that this cause has in our area, so volunteers can learn a little something about the issues facing our community and what their participation can help. We also break many of the causes down into subcategories so that people can zero in more closely on those opportunities that are going to be most meaningful to them. You'll notice that under behavior and mental health, we currently have 89 member agencies that serve that cause. We have 34 active opportunities, and this is the number of hours that have been reported by our agency or volunteers in Volley thus far. Obviously, that doesn't reflect all the hours that have been worked in this. As you scroll down a little further, you will see that the various opportunities are listed. You've got a name for the opportunity, some type of a photo or a graphic, the primary cause for which that opportunity fulfills, and a brief description of the opportunity. You'll see where the cause is located and the agency sponsoring that cause. You'll also see the next available opportunity to volunteer, and if it is an ongoing opportunity, when does that happen? See the number of hours required, the number of volunteers needed, and this I want to help is the sign up button. Someone presses that button, it automatically generates an email to your organization. It will give you the individual's name, their phone number, and their email address so that you can follow up with them. You'll notice as we scroll down the causes, there are a lot of different ways that people try to communicate. I want to look particularly at the pictures and what they say about your opportunity. This one says volunteers needed. It doesn't really give me a lot of information about the particular opportunity. This one also, volunteers. I'm not sure what's going on there, but they need volunteers. Here, boy, if I'm interested in selling, I can tell this has got something to do with that. This is communicating a little bit more to the volunteer. I'm looking here and I see some very small pictures and I'm not quite sure what they are. When you are selecting a graphic, be sure that it's something that's going to be visible when it is in this thumbnail schedule. Here is pretty clear. If I'm interested in public speaking, I'm going to zero in and notice that. Or a logo for the organization might be recognizable by some volunteers. A truck, boy, I like to drive. Let me see what's going on here. And this one grabs me even further because it's got people in it and it's got a horse. And so now I know there's something to do with animals and helping people that, again, brings me in. If you do not post a photo or a graphic, you're going to get this. Grayed out Volley V. Many of our volunteers have told us that when they see that, they believe that if the agency didn't have enough time or enough concern to post a picture, are they really going to have much time to spend with me or teach me what needs to be done? So they tend to pass those over. At least that's what they've communicated to us. So you can see the various options, and we recommend that you scroll through Volley and look at the various ways that people are posting those opportunities. If it's something that attracts you, that draws you in, it more than likely will draw in other volunteers as well, and you can model your opportunities off of those that work. Now, let's say that I'm interested in this and I want to learn more. Then I click on the opportunity and it takes me into a more detailed description. Again, I've got the option to say I want to help, but I've got more details about the opportunity, including requirements and nice to have qualifications, so that I can really have an understanding of whether I'm a good fit for this opportunity or not. You'll also see that there's a map here that shows the volunteer exactly where they will be volunteering, which they find very helpful as well. While in this view, I have the chance to learn more about the organization sponsoring the event, and I can click on that organization, and this is what the organization profile looks for each of our agencies on Volley. A nice thing about this is it has a unique URL. So if I were to hyperlink to this location, I would automatically come to Christian Community Action's profile page on volley.org. We recommend you put that on your website. For volunteers, click here, do a direct link to your Volley profile page, and that way you're routing all of your volunteers through one system, and you don't have to worry about trying to merge data from different systems. Your profile page is going to show all of the volunteer opportunities that you currently have available. The other thing is we've plastered it with pictures of volunteers, and it's kind of nice to see real people who are stepping up. When you receive an expression of interest from a volunteer, you will get a link to their profile page, and each volunteer has their own profile page as well. So this individual, you can learn a little bit about them. She just moved to Texas, and she's sharing some about her past experience. These are the causes that she's interested in, and the other volunteer opportunities that she has expressed interest in. That gives you a better sense of whether this person is a good match for your organization or not. One other thing I'd like to mention as we look at the volunteer opportunity is when you scroll down, you'll see there are some social media links here. So let's say I was having a conversation with my brother this weekend and he had an interest in getting involved in something like this. As I'm scrolling to Volley, I come across this and I go, boy, that's just what he was talking about. I can use my social media links to send him information and bring him to this site. So in essence, we have our volunteers recruiting other volunteers for us, which is a great thing. Let's move on and look at what this site has to do for us as agencies. When you come in here as an agency, you'll go to My Account and click on Agency. You'll want to put in your email address. You'll type in your password and hit login. If you forget your password, you can click down here and Volley will send a new password to your email address. When you get into your agency's account, you're going to start at your agency dashboard. That's going to have your logo or whatever photo you use to identify your organization name, information about your membership. You'll have a section to deal with volunteer opportunities opportunities, creating or viewing existing opportunities or past. You'll have a section where people can become fans of your agency, sort of like liking your Facebook page, a chance for you to build a fan club, if you will, and a section for managing your agency. You'll also see the number of opportunities you have that are waiting for you to post hours, a spot where you can log your mandated volunteer hours. This would be for those of you who are working with court-ordered volunteers through our CSR program. You also have a field that shows the total number of volunteer hours that have been reported on Volley for your organization. Below that, you'll see a month-by-month of accounting of the number of volunteer hours that have been reported, and this goes for a rolling 12 months. So as you begin using Volley more, you can kind of see where are we at, how are we doing or compared to last month, and that gives you a chance to kind of monitor your progress and at a glance. Also, below there, you will see your next 1, 2, or 3 volunteer opportunities and where you stand. So in this case, we have 24 volunteers who have expressed an interest in this opportunity. We'd requested 100, so we still need 76, and there are 2 who have an interest in volunteering that we haven't responded to yet. So that lets us know that those people are waiting to hear from us. Also, in this position, we have filled all of our needs in there, and we've got 3 more people who are waiting to hear from us. So your dashboard in and of itself is a quick glance at what's going on and what's coming up with regard to volunteers in your organization. The first step in maximizing your effective use of Volley is under Manage My Agency. When you go in to Manage My Agency, you have the opportunity to share additional details and information about your organization. You have your agency name and your tax ID number. You've got a profile picture or logo that you have uploaded. You have a profile page message. What message do you want, or mission? And this could be your formal mission statement, but I highly recommend you consider what is the first thing that you want them to know about your organization, or about who you serve, or why it's important that they engage with you. So you've got a brief area to communicate that. Then we ask you to select your primary cause. While it would be nice to select multiple ones, each agency has one primary cause, and that helps us really focus volunteers where they're going to do the most good. Your volunteer opportunities can serve in causes other than the primary cause of your agency. However, we do ask you select, and that could be a primary cause. It could also be a sub-cause under there. Then you have the opportunity to include some links, a link to your main website, a link to your online donations page is available at some levels of membership, links to your Facebook page and your Twitter accounts, again, so that we can engage people with your organization. And the more detail you provide, the easier it is for people to find you and learn more about you. You always need to scroll down to the bottom of the page and click on Save when you change any data on your profile. The next piece you will see is demographics. Demographic information is optional. However, we periodically receive calls from corporations who are looking to serve nonprofits, and oftentimes they will have a particular ethnicity or client base that they are most interested in serving. So the more information you provide to us, the easier it is to find you when we've got an organization that is looking for your type of clientele or to serve in your way. So we request that you complete that information, and it serves your organization in that way. My Profile is the next option under Manage My Agency. This is where you do your name, your email address, and you can change that email address. Your password, if you want to change your password, you can do it here. We showed you on the Forgot My Password. It's going to send you one of those passwords with all sorts of numbers and letters. You use that for your first login. Then you can come in here and change your password to something that is memorable for you. You also have notification settings here. If you're the individual to be contacted when someone responds to a volunteer opportunity, you want to check to receive important information immediately. If you have someone else who's receiving that immediate information and you just want an overview of what's going on with your volunteer opportunities, then you can select Weekly Recap, which means once a week you'll get an email saying this is what's happened with your Volley account, how many people have responded to each of your volunteer opportunities. Or you can get both, which I prefer to do. Again, you save your profile and those settings are good to go. Membership information is information about your membership packages and any payments that you have made. You can make your online payments here using a credit card, or you can request an invoice and actually print it yourself from Volley so that you can present that to your accounting department. Contacts and access is who at your organization has access to the various features that are available on Volley. You can go in here and delete a contact, edit a contact, and reset a password for a contact. Or you can add a new contact. And to add a new contact, you tell us their name, their email address, their phone number, and then what are they the contact for. If you're running criminal background checking, maybe that's the person who's been trained is going to handle verify for you. Are they the volunteer coordinator, or are they a contact for donated goods? Maybe this is the person the bill goes to. But just select the responsibilities that person has. That lets us contact the right people with the right information and avoids getting a lot of unnecessary information to people who really don't have a need or an interest to see it. Permissions are what can they access in Volley? Can they create and edit opportunities? Can they delete opportunities? Or can they just access opportunities, see them, but not make changes? Can they manage volunteers or track hours? Update agency details or manage a membership? Manage contacts, locations, notifications. You select those things that that individual can see. Then you also determine whether you're going to give them access to Volley or not. Giving access to Volley means that they'll be able to create a password to log into Volley and view all of these opportunities. If you select that give access to Volley, Volley will generate an email to that individual or inviting them to participate. Say you have been invited to participate on your agency account with Volley.org. Please click here and create your password for access to the account. Each individual who accesses the account has a unique email address and password. Those email addresses are pretty precious because each email address can only be used once. So if an individual leaves and you want to reassign that email, we have to clear out the old email. As long as you're going by people's names, it's generally not a problem because they're not going to have an identical email address to someone. Again, save your contact and they become one of the contacts you have for your organization. You'll see why it's helpful to have these contacts pre-listed when we look at posting volunteer opportunities. Locations is another field for Volley. We need at least one location, and you can select a location and make that a confidential location. In other words, if you have services that you are providing and you don't reveal the location for your shelter or whatever that may be, we can keep that confidential. Say you operate out of multiple locations, or maybe you operate out of 3 or 4 different schools. You can put each of their addresses in here once. Again, adding a location gives you the opportunity to do that. Export is another feature available with a membership upgrade, and here you can export the details of volunteers with a particular start and end date. So if it was a weekend event, you want everybody from Friday to Saturday who volunteered for that event, or perhaps it's for the last month or for the last quarter or for the last year, which can be used for things like grant reporting and reports to your board of directors or for your annual report. Those things are helpful. If you are using court-ordered volunteers and a part of our CSR program, you have the option to manage your CSR details right on Volley as well. You tell us which offenses your agency will not allow. We're happy to have court-ordered volunteers, but we don't want anyone with any sex offenses, for example. Your agency details and whether you will accept aggravated or not, go here. Your hours of operation, when will you accept court-ordered volunteers, daytime or evening, the types of tasks the volunteers will be doing, which county your agency is located in. The courts have mandates about which county CSR hours can be credited, so we need to know where you're located. If there is a particular dress code, handicap, accessibility, or bilingual staff, that helps us to make the best match. Again, when you click Save, those changes are saved to your profile in Volley. Our next task will be to look at creating a volunteer opportunity. You'll go into your Volley dashboard and click on Create an Opportunity. It's really a simple 4-step process to create an opportunity, and it begins by giving the opportunity a name. In this case, we're going to call it Sample, but we recommend that your name of your project be something that will attract the attention of volunteers. It does not have to be the name of the position itself. So if you need a receptionist, you don't have to say receptionist here. Think of it more as a headline. So it might be help us serve at-risk kids. And then in your description, it is by helping us in our reception area, you free up time for our trained counselors to spend with at-risk kids. So they are contributing to your cause with the kind of help that you need. Who's in charge of this project? Since you already have the names in here, you can select the individual who's going to be responsible for that, or you can create a new contact. This saves you time at not having to type it each time. It also means you don't have to worry about typographical errors or transposing numbers, and you've got the accurate information. I mentioned 4 steps. We're done with step 1. Step 2 is the date and location. Is this a single event, or does the opportunity repeat? No matter which of these buttons you push, you need to put a start date for when your volunteers need to start, and you need to put an end date. The start date can be any time starting tomorrow. You cannot use today as a start, and you can go out as far as 1 year. We recommend that you keep it in shorter increments because it makes your volunteers easier to manage. It makes it easier for you to control and see what's going on with your volunteers. The number of hours, what is a shift for the volunteers? Let's say it's 3 hours. How many volunteers do you need? Well, I need 10 volunteers, or I need 1, or I need 250. If the volunteer opportunity repeats, how often does it repeat? Is it daily? Is it weekly? Is it monthly? If what you need is a tutor for every Tuesday and Thursday, please don't pick daily. Or if you need them Monday through Friday, don't pick daily, because somebody's going to come looking for a Saturday opportunity and yours is going to show up and you really don't have an opportunity then. So it might be weekly, and you can say it's Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Does it repeat every week, every other week? How will your hours be assigned? I highly recommend that you select auto assign your hours. It just saves you time and effort later on. However, if a particular position does have irregular shifts or requires very accurate reporting, you can select check in and check out for your hours. Where will your people go to volunteer? Again, you can just click on the appropriate location if it's in here, or you can create a new location and add it at this point. If you've got locations that you don't need anymore, you can delete those as well. You click Save and Continue, and you're done with step 2. Step 3 is your cause and description. You will go down and select the cause for this particular opportunity. It might be the same cause as for your agency, or in this case, let's say the agency is social services, but you want to post some needs for food baskets for the holidays. So it doesn't have to be the match for the overall cause of the organization. Your project briefing is that short statement about what you need the volunteer to do. We highly recommend you incorporate an impact statement here. That's what engages the volunteers, not just in what they will be doing, but why it's important. How does it serve your clients? How does it address the cause for which you are asking them to serve? Under full description, you can put as much detail as you want, and this really becomes your initial screening process for volunteers. Put the requirement. A background check is required, must be able to lift, must be available at least 1 Saturday a month. Whatever those requirements are, the more detail you put under your full description, the more you can sort out those volunteers who don't meet your basic requirements. So that saves you time in not having to go back and forth with individuals who just aren't going to meet your need. You can cut and paste into this field from your website or from a Word document. You also have the opportunity to build a hyperlink. Let's say you need the volunteer to fill out a volunteer application or sign a release waiver. You can link to that document on your website. Please complete this application and return it to this email address. So that's, again, saves you another step, saves you some additional time in processing these volunteers. Your opportunity picture should be something that is going to look good as a thumbnail and is going to communicate a message about what your volunteers will be doing or engage them to want to look at your opportunity. You simply click on the edit button, select a picture, anything you've got on your computer to upload into that document. That becomes your opportunity picture. Please think about how it's going to look as a thumbnail and what it conveys to the individual volunteer, and look at those other opportunities with photos or graphics and say, does this capture my attention? If it doesn't, then find something that is going to do a better job of selling your opportunity. Save and Continue takes you on to our final final step in posting your volunteer opportunities. Will you need background checks? If you are going to be running your background checks through Verify, we are very close to having Verify available through volley.org. The next question is, what type of volunteers are you looking for? If you're looking for general volunteers, you would click this button. If you're looking for a particular skill set, then you'll click over here and you will see that we have a significant taxonomy of skills, from accounting and financials management, administrative arts, board governance, so you can look for board members through volley.org, counseling, daily life, disaster, education, mental health. As you will see as you scroll down, the list goes on and is pretty extensive, including translations and interpretation. If you find that you are clicking more than 3 or 4 skill buttons, you probably need more than one volunteer opportunity. You can post an unlimited number of opportunities, so look at breaking that down if you need to. Now we have one other field here, and that is, who is this opportunity appropriate for? You have the ability to select individuals or group. Individuals are people working alone or with other individuals, but working under your supervision. So it might be an individual youth working under your supervision. If that's the case, what's the minimum age? And that should be in your details about your need. Adults, seniors, interns. A routine volunteer opportunity is not an internship. An internship is generally a project that has a specific beginning and end date and has outcomes or accomplishments just from that opportunity. Group could be a family group. If so, what's the minimum age for the children? Could be a youth group. That's a group of young people coming with chaperone. Again, what's the minimum age that you will accept, and how many chaperone to youth ratio do you require? You also have corporate, civic, and community groups, and I would say it is helpful to include a maximum size for your group as well. How many can you reasonably accommodate in the space that you have with the resources you have? Communicate what is going to work for your organization, and you will have a better match for your opportunities. Once you hit publish, your volunteer opportunity is live. Others can then see and respond, and we've had organizations that have responses within a half hour of hitting publish. Okay, then we're going to go on and talk about how to manage your volunteers. Once you get a response, what do you do with it? We'll go back to the dashboard and click on View All Opportunities. When you view all opportunities, you'll see you have a number of options here. You can sort and see those that are in draft format that you haven't published yet. You can look at your active opportunities. That's going to be kind of the default setting that comes up first. You can find opportunities that are awaiting completion. That's probably where you need to report some hours yet. Your completed opportunities are those that you've held the opportunity, the date is passed, and you've reported hours. What was last week? Past opportunities would be all the opportunities you've had in the past. Canceled is those that you chose to cancel out, and private opportunities we'll talk about more a little bit later. If you have annual event, maybe it's a golf tournament, maybe it's a holiday need, where you create the volunteer opportunities for that event, then it's over. Well, instead of having to recreate that event the following year, you can actually go into past opportunities and you can identify the event that you want to repeat. I'm going to pick a Volley in the Park opportunity, and I'm going to edit that opportunity. I can duplicate that opportunity. Then I could make any sort of changes. The first thing I want to do is get rid of this word copy that is going to show up, and you can update the opportunity with new dates and such. I'm going to go back to opportunities, and we're going to look at the ways that you can manipulate your opportunities. The first one is to manage your volunteers, and that's an important role. You have several options. You can approve the individual to volunteer. Accepted as a volunteer will show up in the status column, and that person will receive an email from Volley that says you have been accepted to volunteer. Volley will also send reminders to that individual saying, hey, you're coming up to volunteer next week or tomorrow or today. Volley becomes a tool for reminding the volunteer. The next opportunity is to put that volunteer on hold. That might be, I need to run a background check. It's going to show interested as volunteering when you first see them. So if I click this button to put them on hold, there is a standard message that Volley has started for you, but you can go in here and put any sort of custom message you want. Thank you for your interest in this opportunity. We require a background check. As soon as you've completed your background check, we will follow up with you about next steps in the process. Whatever message you want in there. The next option is to wait wait list to volunteer. Again, if you put a volunteer on wait list, you have the opportunity to customize the message. And this might be someone who is interested in an opportunity that's already been filled, but you expect that you may have need for their type of skills in the future. And that gives you the opportunity to respond to that volunteer right now, but not lose track of them should you need them again. And finally, you can deny a volunteer. That would be, nope, this person doesn't meet the requirements, didn't pass the background check. For whatever reason, we're not interested in using that individual. And when you decline the volunteer, again, you can customize that message as to why they're being declined. The second thing you can do with a volunteer opportunity is to track hours for your volunteers. Now, this comes back to where we mentioned auto-assign hours. If you're auto-assigning hours, this makes this really, really simple. Let's say you're having an event. The day of the event, you take your laptop or a tablet or even your iPhone, you pull up this field in Volley, and then you go in and say, Ahmed was there. If you have auto-assign hours, the number of hours are going to show up right here, or you can go in and log the hours on this date. How many hours did the volunteer work? And you save. If you auto-assign the hours, you don't have to do that extra step. What happens when you do this is those hours are going to show up on your organization's profile. They're going to show up on the volunteer's profile. And when you report the hours, Volley will automatically generate an email to that volunteer saying, thank you for volunteering. Now, let's say that this is an ongoing opportunity and Ahmed worked 3 hours last week and he's back again this week. I can go in, view, and edit hours, and I can put in another date and additional hours log. And then you've got an ongoing account of what this volunteer has done with your organization. Export volunteers is a premium feature, and it allows you to export a report of the volunteers for this opportunity. Edit the opportunity allows you to go in and make changes. There are two things you cannot change. One is the picture once it's been published, and the other is the date. It would be confusing to volunteers for you to go in and change the dates once an opportunity is already published, so you cannot do that. However, you can duplicate the opportunity and to put in new dates. Finally, you can cancel an opportunity. If you choose to cancel an opportunity, Volley will send an email to any individuals who have responded to that opportunity and let them know that the opportunity has been canceled. From your agency dashboard, if you are using mandated volunteers, you click on the log MVP hours or CSR hours. You click on there, it's going to bring up a list of all the individuals who have been referred to your organization, and you can go in and do your once a month reporting of volunteer hours right there, or you can report it day by day or week by week if that is easier for you. There is another site I'd like to point out. We talked about searching by causes and by opportunities. We also have an agency filter where an individual can go in, type the name of the agency, and then just look at the opportunities for your agency. We also have this feature called Teams. Teams are created by volunteers, and it might be that it is, in this case, a military sorority or a high school team. These are cowboy fans who want to work together to do good. This is Fannie Mae organization. So you can see we've got a lot of different organizations that have created teams. And the thing about a team is that they can then respond to an opportunity, or they can request an opportunity. If a team requests an opportunity that's a possible match for your organization, you're going to get this message at the bottom of your dashboard. View and respond to their request. So you'll click on here and you will see there are Six Flags employees. They're expecting 20 volunteers and they're looking for an opportunity. I can create an opportunity for that team the same way I would create a general opportunity, except it would be considered a private opportunity. Or I can choose from an existing opportunity and we could adapt it to work for this team. We'll send them a message and start that communication that says, here's a way that you guys can get together and they can meet your need. They may get multiple responses, in which case they'll choose which opportunity. It's not guaranteed they're going to come and do your opportunity, but it certainly would be nice to have a group of 20 come in and help you out with something. One other thing I wanted to mention under opportunities is on this left-hand side, where individuals browsing in Volley have the opportunity to filter by cause or by location, by date and time, by the skill set they'd like to use, or by teams and individuals. so they have the chance to narrow their search down. And we find that location is particularly important, as well as individuals who are looking for youth opportunities or youth group opportunities. Well, we have walked through volley.org. You have had a chance to see the primary functions and how things work within the site. I hope this has given you some additional information that makes it a little easier for you to take advantage of the exciting things that we've been able to build into Volley. Our goal is to save you time and to get you quality volunteers who are passionate about the same things you are and who keep coming back again and again. So thank you again. I look forward to working with you in the future.